What did I just read? Hi, everybody. Welcome to our second episode of the Pain or Pleasure Wheel, where we both got pain this time, but yours wasn't really. It was pain/pleasure, I think. It was more. I just really wanted to make you read this book. So, LA, you had to read A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas.
Yes. And Holly, you had to read
King of Wrath by Ana Huang.
by, yeah, our favorite.
Yeah, she's somebody's favorite. Oh, okay.
You want to kick us off then? See what?
I don't know. Okay, I can.
I am dying to know what, because on Goodreads, all it says is like still for you, because I hunt you down. It still says reading or currently reading the last time I checked. And so I was like,
okay, so if you like Ana Huang, then I suggest you skip over the next probably like 30-minute rant that's going to happen and just skip to LA's section. But listen.
okay.
I tried, LA. I went into this book with an open mind. I want everybody to know I did that.
Good. Did you finish it?
I did finish it last night. I forced myself.
400 pages.
It was. And I started it on Saturday or Sunday, and I texted you. I was like, hey, let's record on Monday, thinking that like I'll for sure have this book read. I was just being really hyperbolic, saying that it would take me a week to read this book. That was silly of me. LA, it took me a week to read this book.
Oh no.
And honestly, and it was because I was just so bored. I was so bored. This whole book.
Can I tell you, I know nothing about this book. So this is a first in a series. She has 4 that are coming out.
Let me correct you, because you do.
Okay.
Did you read any other of Ana Huang's books? Have you read the Twisted series? Then you have read this book.
What?
It is
what?
Because Ana Huang follows a formula, and they're all the same. They're all the same. You have, if you like hypermasculine men, this book is for you. If you like women who are kind of meek and they're just like not too sure of themselves, but they want to live their own lives, this book is for you. If you want men who would, oh, what am I trying to say? Touch her and you die, this book is for you. This book is not for me.
But it is for a lot of other people.
People is, and
love this book.
They do. And it's just not, honestly, it's just not for me. And that is like what it boils down to. These characters, these tropes, I don't like them. I don't care about them.
Tell me, is it a contemporary romance?
So it's a contemporary romance. In fact, it's still in the same world as the Twisted series. Some of the characters overlap. So the Christian from Twisted Lies, that was the last one that we read, right?
Yes.
He is a character in this book. In his timeline with, oh God, what is her name?
Stella?
Yeah, that's it. His timeline with Stella is like weirdly intertwined in this book. Like it hasn't happened, and then towards the end of the book it is happening. And actually Dante, who is the main character in King of Wrath, and oh my god, what's the main character in this book? What's her name? Vivian.
Mm.
Vivian, Dante and Vivian also make cameos in Twisted Lies.
What?
Yeah, so
When?
Dante has Magda, that ugly ass painting that is Christian's.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So like when Christian and Stella visit like that random apartment in New York, it's
Yeah.
Dante and Vivian's apartment that they're
Ah,
visiting. Yeah.
okay. Okay.
So there you
Interesting.
have this weird crossing of books, swords, books. And I mean, which I think if you really enjoyed the Twisted series, then you will like that. You will like the crossover. It's fun, it's interesting, and Christian does play like an interesting role. At the same time, this book is just so predictable. Okay, you want to like a little brief summary? I feel like I should give a brief summary instead. I'm
Yeah,
just
I'd love one.
word vomiting. So this King of Wrath is an arranged marriage story. So you have this billionaire CEO Dante Russo who is being blackmailed to marry a jewelry heiress, Vivian Lau.
Okay.
And she has no idea he's being blackmailed to marry her. She just thinks this is an arranged marriage. And she
Hmm.
is going along with it because she will do anything for her family, even though her family sucks.
Where are they? What culture is this? Arranged marriage.
So he is Italian. She
Okay.
is Hong Kong Chinese American.
Okay.
So you do have definitely like this cultural element of you do what your family says, like blood is thicker than water, and you respect your elders for Vivian, which I understand and I get. But at the same time, it just that being her only reason for staying in an arranged marriage was just so
It's not strong enough.
no,
It
it
just seemed
wasn't. Yeah.
faulty.
It
Okay.
seemed, yeah, it was just so like it made her character seem so weak and I hated it and I hated her.
No. Okay. Like, was she whiny? Was she just like in her feels and thoughts too much? Was
Just
she
feels and thoughts and just same feels and same thoughts, like cycling and cycling, and friends telling her the same thing that she was already thinking. You know what I mean?
okay? I do.
And
Yeah.
he obviously does not want to be in this marriage at all. To him, this is just a business deal. He doesn't really want anything to do with her. To him, she is the enemy's daughter. To
Okay.
her, this is just something that they have to do. People of wealth and power have arranged marriages all the time. It's not talked about, but they just do it, right? Because they're new money, he's old money. And for them to get married is advantageous for her family. Like they're going to be lifted up because she's marrying him, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And to her, she's thinking, she was like kind of told that marrying him is opening new markets also for her family, but really there's just really no benefit to him marrying her.
Her. Hmm.
So for I just feel like that wasn't explored enough for her as a character, like wondering like what is he really what are the benefits of this marriage for him, especially when she is like they're forced to live in his apartment together. You get like this Beauty and the Beast moment where she has her own wing, he has his own wing, and he's just like, your engagement ring is on your bedside table, you know? And like that's her proposal. And it's this, oh my God, I don't even know where I'm going because I'm just like bored talking about it.
Is it enemies to lover? Do they start doing like
Yeah,
snide
so it's
stuff?
like he's not very kind to her and she is cold to him and makes snide remarks and he like respects her for her snide remarks and he's just like nobody talks to me like she does. And he's like and I kind of respect her for it. And she's like he's giving me so many heated glances and he talks to me so not nice and I love it. You know, it's like so many bullshit moments like that. But I'm just like, okay. So you get like the heated moments of those things, and then you have like the close proximity of being forced together in their apartment, and then you get like he's not nice to her, and then all of a sudden you get these warm, touching stories, and they're getting closer, and then you have this moment where they're finally having sex, and he like goes down on her, he finger bangs her, but he does not penetrate her with his penis. And he decides that they did not fuck, that they did not have sex. In LA, they did have sex. Oral and finger banging, that qualifies as sex. Just because you didn't put a P in a V, that does not mean you didn't have sex. Just because you did an orgasm doesn't mean you didn't have sex.
Oh.
And then he leaves her in bed and he goes and takes a cold shower and he thinks, I'm so glad that I did not have sex with her. But you did.
Did.
What is happening?
Uh-huh.
And before that scene, he had already finger banged her in the Valhalla Club. Remember that? That's also in the Twisted series. And I'm just thinking, like, dude, where did you learn sex education?
What point in the book did you get to this point? Was it like, so it's a 400-page
That's like
book.
halfway through that they're like
Oh,
going down on each
wow.
other. And like the finger banging probably happened like a third of the way. It's like a long time to the smut. And after that, there's this cold shoulder moment. And she's just like, yeah, I'm so glad that we didn't really do it in Bali. And I was thinking, like, but you did. You orgasmed twice. That's sex. You had sex. Anyway, I won't harp on it anymore, but I probably will. And and he's just like, yeah, because he grunts and gives like masculine looks. And then for some reason, there's like a flip and they decide that they like each other and they're going to go on dates now. And because they're engaged, and then they start having amazing sex. And I don't know. I just thought it was going to be a little kinkier too. And it's really not.
So it's called King of Pride.
Wrath.
Wrath. The second one is King of Pride. Right? Did Ana Huang, the author, put in any sort of like hints of who's the next couple going to be, or?
Yes. So, well, no, she didn't really give hints to who the couple will be in the next, but she gives hints to several couples that it could potentially be. So you kind of know the lineup that is going to be happening. So the next book is Kai and Isabella, which she gave. Isabella is Vivian's close friend and confidant. She's a little wild. She has different colored hair. And then you have Kai, who's studious and knows Latin because he's smart. And so they're the next couple, which, I mean, that one sounds fine and fun. But
okay, so that was my question, is that would you continue in the
no, I'm done. I'm
oh man, so like one of my goals is to always read all of the Goodreads 20 whatever, like their top 20 nominees.
Yeah.
And so I keep
you.
saying King of Pride because it's the second one, but you have to read, I guess you don't have to, but King of Wrath is the first one. So I'm super excited. You've made me so excited to read this now.
I am sure I have. I'm so excited for you to pick it up. I don't know. It wasn't my jam. It's not something that I like to read. I don't like the hypermasculine characters. I don't really care for the toucher and you die situations. I find that gross and just like not appealing at all. But I know that other people really like it and eat it up, and that's fine. It's just not for me. It's not what I like.
Do you think if Ana Huang like dipped into other, how authors sometimes they do, like Rebecca Yarros, for example, dipped into like romantasy or, something else, do you think that you'd give the author another shot, or?
Listen. This is my fifth Ana Huang book. And I just don't. She's just not for me. I don't.
Yeah.
I get.
That's okay.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to like every author. You don't have to like everybody's writing style. I was just bored by this book, and I wasn't as angry with these characters as I was with Twisted Lies. Their motivations and their character development was better. They seemed like actual people to me with real motivations and personal qualities and drive. But I just, no, I don't think I will be picking up the next book in this series, or if Anna Huang decides to write a romantasy. I don't think I will be picking up that book unless
Sounds
it's
good.
like incredibly. This book is also incredibly highly rated on Goodreads.
What did you end up giving the star rating? I don't think I
Um,
remembered or heard.
I gave it 2 stars because some parts were entertaining, but overall, other people enjoyed this book. I did not.
So your pain is painful.
It was it was painful. I'm now in a bit of a book slump because of this book. I don't know what to
Oh,
do
I
next.
no. Well, we can rig it and just have you do pleasure.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, but you know what I will say about this book? Something that I
Mhm.
did like, because we talked about another book and The Bride, right? Where we didn't feel like he groveled enough. There was not an
Yeah.
apology. In King of Wrath, I did feel like there was a moment where obviously his character needed to grovel, and he did it. And he did it in
Oh,
a good way and in a loving and touching way for her character.
okay. Cool. Cool, cool.
There's that.
So that's kind of satisfying.
Yeah, it was set. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Do you want
LA,
to find Yeah. Yeah.
you want to tell us about the book that you were assigned to read this week or
Yeah.
this month?
Finally. Finally, finally. So,
Yay!
I got A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, or ACOTAR for short. Can I tell you, I cannot believe for how much clout this book has gotten on
Hmm.
Book Talk and Instagram. I'm shocked that nothing was like really revealed, if you will. I'm just surprised that I could go because I thought, oh, surely I'm going to, you know this or that or whatever. But there was
Yeah.
one book talk girl, and she said she had the book holding up in the screen, and she would, go to a section in the beginning and just kind of yawn and go halfway through it and yawn. And then all of a sudden, like 3/4 of the way, she'd start kind of like going in, and then she'd be really shocked at the end. So my foray with Sarah J. Maas is I have read almost all of the Throne of Glass series. It's one of the first books that I read when I got into my reading journey again a few years ago. So I think I've read all of them except the last two, The Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash in that series. But I have all of the Crescent City books, and I physically own them. And I also physically own all five of the Court of Thorns and Roses series, but I haven't read them until now.
Yay! So, what was your star rating for this book? I'm so excited.
I gave this book 5 stars.
Yes. I'm so excited.
And I'm already starting the second book. So, The Court of Mist and Fury, which is a tome.
Yeah,
And then I
you'll fly
also
through
heard
it.
I mean, I feel like I flew through this one.
Uh-huh.
Well, the beginning, can I just tell you, the beginning was rough.
It's
I'm like,
slow.
ay, 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 with the whole going to the Tamlin's spring court and all
Yeah.
that shit. I
What did
didn't
you think
fucking
about the
care.
family dynamics?
Okay. Okay. Here's
Hmm.
Okay.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
So you follow for people that don't know, which obviously you do know. So her name is, and she pronounces it like on page 5 or 6, and it's Feyre, like
Yeah.
Ruh. I
Yeah, Feyre.
always call her Fairy. I don't know why, like a fairy, but Fairy. So if I
Hmm.
keep saying that, that's what it is. So she's 19 years old. She has two older sisters. So I first started reading this and I was like, this is a fucking Cinderella, like, retelling or whatever, right? There's also the three trials. That's like a mythological like reference to, is it Psyche and Eros or something? She has to go through three trials to,
Hmm.
anyways. So her mother died when she was younger. So we think
And
that seems
and
a little
on
sus.
and only asked her,
Yeah.
just her baby, to
Yeah.
watch over her family.
Yeah. And she had this vow that she could not break it. What? And then her dad, so he was a very successful merchant and then had a really bad, he bet all of his money on these ships that sunk and they lost their fortune. And so they're living in a cottage. and basically starving. So they don't have enough food. And so Feyre, goes out. I try to fix it and then I didn't. She goes out and she starts hunting for the family. And these good for nothing sisters do nothing.
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 Don't even try.
Nesta, not redeeming to me either, because
No.
Nesta at the end, you're kind of like want to side with her a little bit because Elaine
Yeah, Elaine.
kind of stupid. Like she's like 1970s, like like of the earth, Mother Earth, like whatever. Nesta is a cold hard bitch. Like she is just, yeah. I feel like I'm gonna hate this bitch. So
Hmm.
she's awful. She's awful. And I think that they're gonna have parts in later books. I don't know why, but I just feel like their story ain't over. I'll fucking see. But yeah, so it starts out with Feyre hunting and she sees a wolf and she contemplates if it's so that in this world that she lives in there are fairies and there's this big wall and go past the fairies and there 500 years ago there was the big war and now the humans are separate from them. And I don't mean to drone on because I know that everybody and their mom has read this. I
She
feel
ends
like
up
I'm
killing,
reciting the
yeah.
Bible.
She ends up killing a fairy, right? Not
Yeah, the
really knowing
wolf.
if it is or isn't, but at the end of the day, she doesn't really care if it is or it isn't. She does it
Exactly.
anyway. Yeah.
And she brings the wolf back. There's this whole thing about going into town and sell whatever. It's all shit. So later, a beast of some sort. I don't think Tamlin turns into a wolf. Like he turns into some sort of beast that is
Yeah, it's
wolf-like
like a
because he
beast
has
with antlers and everything. Yeah.
horns or whatever.
He's just
He's scary. So he finds out that Feyre had killed his friend and because of some treaty that she has the option of either dying like him killing her or moving to the world. What, how do you pronounce Prythian?
Pethian.
It's like, yeah, this is so obviously like the UK.
It is. The map reminds me a bit of Game of Thrones because it's like up and
Yes.
down too, and you have, yeah, it's very similar.
Yeah, it's the exact same. So she obviously decides to leave her past behind and forever go and live with who you find out is Tamlin. And he is a high fae, and there are 7 high fae. He's one of them. And but of the spring court, and he has what you find out way later in the book, he has a curse, so he can't take off a mask. And
Kind of
the
silly.
whole time. Oh god, I
How
just think
do,
he has like these gold feathers.
yeah. I thought of like this Venetian gold, but like
Yeah.
metal gold mask,
Yeah.
stylish.
Yeah.
What are your feelings towards Tamlin?
Uh yeah. No. No. I think she should be with Rysand. I think I'm a Rysand supporter because I always like the bad boys. Because I also think the very last scene where he like stumbles, which we'll get to, is like him realizing that he's her mate or whatever that fairy thing is. What
Mm-hmm.
is it called? Yeah, I think that they're mates because she became a fairy. So like at the end. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that that's when he realizes because you have to be a fairy. I think this is what happens. This is my prediction.
Ooh.
Don't tell me anything.
Mm-mm.
But
Mm-mm.
I think Rysand has his own fucking problems. I think Tamlin, I just think of him as like somebody older, like an old geezer, because he's like old as dirt. And I think
Well,
he
they
might
kind
be
of
out of
all
touch.
are, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how old. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. They're old.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the a message maybe for later books is like being so old and losing like your feelings, like getting so far away from mortality and the humans and all that other stuff. I don't think her and Tamlin are going to work out, but I think that Sarah J. Maas is going to take us on a fucking ride for 10 books. Or he's going to die.
Yeah, she's very good at taking people for a ride. Right now, I'm in the middle of Thorn of Glass, and I'm on book 4, and I feel like I'm definitely on a ride. There was like a
Yeah.
love triangle in the very beginning. That love triangle broke apart. And now I'm on this other love triangle that I don't know what's happening with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like one corner of triangle. I want to like cut that out.
Yeah.
But I think she does a good job in Akatar with the love interests. So I'm very
Okay.
excited for you to keep going in this book series.
Can I tell you, it was
Uh-huh.
a little steamy for, so I know that they recovered these books. So this book was released, what, in
Mm-hmm.
2018, 16, 18, something like that. Oh gosh, 15. Yeah, 2015. So they had more like YA things. She was 19, so I think it was like new adult, which new adult didn't exist, I think back then. I thought new adult was like a recent thing. But yeah, they have sex in this book and
It's
it's interesting.
it only gets steamier, honestly. And the fact
That's
that
what I
this was
heard.
in the YA section in bookstores, I was like, that doesn't belong there. That does not belong there.
No, no, they have sexy time.
Mhm.
So I have other predictions. So she leaves Tamlin has this curse. She's part of this curse to break it. She doesn't end up breaking it. Tamlin gets taken over by, which I love this bad queen's name. Are It's like Amanda and Samantha combined together.
I know.
Amantha.
Uh-huh.
I fucking love it. Because SJM was like, I know this bitch named Samantha and I know this bitch named Amanda. She's
Amantha.
gonna
It's so
literally.
true. Ah.
Oh, it's fantastic. Not to be complicated, she tricked some high fae, cursed people, stole their magic. She's in charge. But here's the thing that's not talked about is that she reports to this king in wherever the fuck. Like
Mm-hmm.
that king. I think he's the villain in the next one or two. What is that king of Hybern?
Mm-hmm.
Hyberm. I think he's going to come in for the next one. But anyways, so she's this queen who's in love with Tamlin, and Tamlin don't like her, and so
She's kind of the worst. Kind of the worst.
she's kind of fucking awful.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
this
she's
is
the
when
one who like cursed him with the masks, the party masks.
yeah, and she's bad shit with the eyeball of her sister's ex-lover that's in the ring. When does that come back? Because they can't find that.
So great.
What
Oh
the
my god.
fuck? So, anyways, yeah, like a badass that she is, Feyre goes in to her palace that's under a mountain, which just seemed very dark, and says, I want to win my man back.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically says, you have to do these three trials. And she almost dies, but then she like figures out the riddle, and that's really cool. But really fucking stupid what the answer was. I thought it was going to be more complex. Stupid.
New
And
adult
then,
LA.
right. Yeah. And then Rysand with all the body paint and interesting.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I thought the steamy scene when Tamlin wasn't showing any sort of sign of like affection or, whatever. And then he just couldn't contain it anymore and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rysand like comes in and they have their kiss. Okay. Anyway, sorry, getting into the mush. But basically she defeats this queen and frees her man, and
Uh-huh.
they go off and they're living happily ever after, maybe, or maybe not, because I think what's going to happen is she's pissing off the king now the queen's dead, or some people were supportive of this Amantha. So
Mhm.
yeah, the worm was nuts.
Yeah.
Thought that was a really great visual though.
She did
I
such
just
a good job describing that whole worm scene. I was so into it. And I still remember her running away from the worm. And was she like throwing things? Oh, I don't know. But also just like being in
yeah,
the muddy pit. I
pit.
was there with her. I felt like that scene was
Yes.
so well written.
Yeah, and that she figures out she's such a huntress. She figures out that the worm is blind and that she
Mm-hmm.
can, do all that stuff. That they use her own weakness of her not learning. She can't read, so she's illiterate. So having to pull a lever to save the redhead, Lucian or whatever. Not a
Lucian?
fan. Yeah, not a fan. I don't
You
like
don't
him.
like Lucian?
I don't like Lucian. No,
Okay.
not a fan. I don't
Why?
know
Why
why.
not?
I think he just is really needy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
I mean, it's not his. I don't want to say too much. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never
okay.
mind.
Yeah. I think I'll figure out more with him.
Yeah.
He's always a weakness. He's Tamlin's weakness. He's her weakness. It's like, ugh. Stop it.
Yeah.
I think I missed the party for a long time. I'm glad you brought me on board, and I also fucking hate you because now I'm like losing my life to ACOTAR for a
Oh
while.
my God, you're gonna love it. I've actually started listening to it because my husband has it on Audible because I made him listen to it after I loved it. My whole
Yeah.
summer was consumed by ACOTAR 2 summers ago, and I told my husband Zach, I was just like, "You have to read these books. They're so good, and they're steamy, but I think you're also going to really like them, even beyond the romance side of it, the romanticy of it. I think the world is really fun, and you'll really enjoy these books." And so he picked them up, and he has them on Audible, and so I'm trying to catch up with you so I can listen to them as you read them too.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I've had such a lovely time with this pain and pleasure wheel.
Yeah, I know you have. And if you were to get pain, I will not be as generous next time around. Okay, I have my wheel here. Do you want me to spin for both of us?
Please.
Okay, I think we are ready to spin for our next round. Do you want me to spin for you first, or do you want me to spin for me first?
You first. You first.
Okay.
I have a good feeling.
Okay. I swear to God. Does that mean it's a beige?
I think it's your choice.
I want a pleasure. I am so sick of pain. I've had pain 2 months in a row. I think I deserve something good in my life. So I'm gonna go with
Okay.
pleasure. But that means next month I have to do a pain, right?
You don't have to. No,
Okay.
it's whatever you
Okay.
spend.
Well then
No.
I'm choosing a pleasure.
Okay. I got your
Uh-huh.
pleasure. All right. So I recently read this book. I've
Mhm.
never read anything by this author. She's getting a bunch of hype, and she also has another book coming out. I believe it's this summer that everybody's talking about. But I want you to read Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez.
Yay! Oh, I'm
And
so
you're
excited. Yay!
welcome.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you, thank you. Because I've been wanting to read that book so bad. And I just really
Yay.
haven't made an excuse to read it yet. Oh,
I think
okay.
you'll love it. And there's some small townness in it that is so you. And
Oh, and you hate
yeah,
it. You like this book though, and you don't like the small
I
town.
I loved it. I could not physically put
That
it
is
down.
high praise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I think you
okay.
like it.
All
Okay, my
right.
turn.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited for you.
Ugh.
What is LA going to get? She is getting. Ooh, what do you want? You are also on Beige 23 again.
Your wheel is rigged.
I think so. What do you want? A pain or a pleasure?
Okay, so I've had pleasure the past couple of rounds. So
Mm-hmm.
let's mix it up. I think since you picked pleasure, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll pick I'll pick pain. I'll pick.
Are you sure?
So, but here's the thing. I made you read a 400 page
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anna Huang book. Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'll
Uh-huh.
pick pain.
Uh-huh.
I'll
Uh-huh.
pick pain. I'll pick
Okay.
pain. Oh,
So
what is it?
you're gonna read something
Mhm.
that is it is a bit taboo. I picked out something from Penelope Douglas, and you're going to be reading a sapphic novel, a book called Tryst Venom
This
6.
six. That's a big book.
uh, enjoy your bully romance. It feels gross inside. Because
Oh
you
man.
secretly love it. Oh, I don't know. You might not, but
I don't think this is a pain. I've read
no.
all of her, no, because I've read all of her standalones, I think. So
Uh-huh.
I've read like Misconduct and Birthday Girl and
I am
Credence.
I know like sapphic books aren't your typical clam jam. Um I can't
Because
help it. So sorry.
I like swords better.
Whether they're crossing or not.
You're asking.
And and like I like my sappies, but I know you're just whatever on them. And this is also it's set in a high school setting, which I was just kind of like, about. Um, And it's very much a bully romance. They are not kind to each other. So
You
I don't
talked
know if
about
you
this in one of our monthly wrap-ups last year.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. And then you start getting to it, and I was like, no, I don't think this is for me.
So I don't know if have you read a bully romance before?
Yeah, her Punk 57, if that's considered a bully romance.
Okay, this is more than that. But that's kind of.
There's a Harley Low something she wrote Her Soul to Take. That's wow. Yeah, that one was made me feel very uncomfortable. How am I gonna talk about this with you? Oh.
I'm so interested on your reaction to this book and what you think of it.
Oh God. I'm gonna have to buy. I know it's on KU. I think I'm gonna have to buy it though.
Yeah, it is on KU,
Okay.
on Kindle Unlimited for everybody who doesn't know our lingo.
Do you know that she got picked up by somebody and they're traditionally publishing her books?
Ooh, good for her.
Hmm. Yeah, she's doing good stuff. Damn it.
I'm so excited.
What do we do for
I have been sitting on this for like a week. I have been like dwelling on what to give you. I already knew the pleasure book that I was going to give you, and I'm going to sit on it for next time too because I think you'll really like it. But I wasn't sure what to do for pain. And so I'm
I feel like I'm pretty easy with pain, you know, like my likes and dislikes.
I mean, I feel kind of similar.
This isn't really a pain though. This isn't like a book that I dislike. I think it's just something that I haven't read before, maybe.
We'll see. We'll see.
You're confident.
I don't it might not be a pain, but it will be uncomfortable. And that makes me happy.
Yay. Okay. All right. Well, on
Yay!
that note,
Bye. See you next month.
bye.
Bye.
Oh, Lord.